Hello and welcome to another episode of Soap Goes to the Oscars. This is episode 35, and we're still in the sixth Oscar ceremony year, which was movies from 1932 to 1933. And I'm recording this on July 7th, 2024. It's been, for you, it's only been a week, but for me, it's been about a month since I've been able to watch one of these movies. I've been trying to finish out this year of Oscars, and I had two left, this being one of them. And so I just have the final movie left after this. This movie is called Smilin Through. It's from 1932, and I watched it on Amazon Prime. I think it was about $3.99, but I had some Amazon credits, and so I got it for free. So we always like the free ones. So so far for this round of Oscars, I've only paid for one, and that was $4.23. So not bad for having watched 9 movies, average of 47 cents a movie. I'll take it. I think I'll have to rent the next one too, but I think I have more credits, so that one should also be free. Yay! As I said, this was called Smilin Through. Sorry, no G. It is a 1932 American pre-code MGM romantic drama film based on the 1919 play of the same name, written by Jane Cowell and Jane Murfin. It was adapted from the play by James Bernard Fagan, Donald Ogden Stewart, Ernest Vajda, and Claudine West. Wow, lots of writers. The film was directed by Sidney Franklin, stars Norma Shearer, Frederick March, Leslie Howard, and Ralph Forbes. Norma Shearer, and one of the other guys, I think maybe Ralph Forbes, have both been in other movies I watched. She was in The Divorcee, and he was in East Lynne, I believe. And this is a remake of an earlier 1922 silent version, which was also directed by Sidney Franklin and starred Norma Talmadge. And it was obviously nominated for Best Picture in 1932, or Outstanding Production, as they called it then. Apparently, with this one, there were significant differences in the story when compared to the 1922 silent film. There's also a 1941 version, and though not a shot-for-shot remake, does incorporate several key scenes from the 1932 film verbatim, while adding material that focuses more on World War II. This one is World War I. The song Smilin Through was first published in 1919. At the time when the original play was written, the song is heard in the play and all 3 film adaptations, including as a musical accompaniment in the 1922 silent version. Norma Shearer's singing voice was dubbed by Georgia Stark in the 1932 version. The film was re-released in 1935. According to MGM's campaign book, it was brought back by public demand. That's kind of funny, as I've said before, some of these movies, all it came out the same year maybe, and they're wildly different qualities. This one was not terrible, but it was, kind of grainy and dirty and brightness like fading in and out, which is fine. It looked, good enough in the version that I watched. So let's see, some other behind the scenes stuff here. Cinematography by Lee Garmes, edited by Margaret Booth, distributed by Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, released on September 24th, 1932. It is about 98 minutes. A budget of $851,000. The box office was $2,033,000. So this one was pretty good. I like this a lot, actually. It was, the story for this one starts out with a man, Sir John Carteret, in 1898, standing by the grave of the woman he was going to marry and talking to her. And she kind of appears behind him as, in a ghostly figure sort of way. He doesn't see her, but she's telling him, be patient, we'll be together again soon. And the next scene is a friend of his telling him that his wife's sister has passed away, and her husband, they both drowned, and they had a daughter. And he asks if she can come stay with him instead of being sent to an orphanage. And he refuses, but then the guy just kind of shoves her through the door and he takes her in as his ward. And there's a little bit of humor in the beginning, especially with that. And but this, then she grows up. It kind of quickly moves to her being an adult. She's about 20 years old, I think, about 15 years later. And at this point, Sir John's wife died about 50 years before. It had been about 30 years um, since she had died in the beginning. And the girl, the adopted daughter, is the same actress as Norma Shearer, playing his dead wife and this, girl that he helped raise. And she is like kind of seeing a guy, but she doesn't really like him. They get caught in a storm and go into this old mansion and find some clues that lead them to believe that the owner of the mansion killed himself and that he had been invited to the wedding of her uncle, and that he had also loved the woman that the uncle was supposed to marry. And then while they're there, a man comes in the house and turns out to be the son of the man who lived in that house, Wayne Mansion. Kind of funny. Jeremy Wayne was the man who was in love with the uncle's wife, and then Kenneth Wayne is the son who comes to join the war in England. And of course, they fall in love. The girl and the American. They have their little romance, and she, through some flashbacks, you kind of come to find out what really happened with the wife, how she died, and how this other man was involved. And because of it, the uncle is very bitter about the Wayne family and refuses to let her marry him as he's going off to war. And then from there, he does go off to war. He's gone for about 4 years. When he comes back, he's injured and changed, and kind of embarrassed to tell her that he's injured. So he sort of pushes her away. And I won't spoil all the details, but he does. It does end sort of happily. A little kind of bittersweet, but it was just a fun little movie. Like, it was cute, and it was. I will say this: at an hour and 38 minutes, it felt very long, but it wasn't really bad. I found myself checking my watch a few times towards the middle and end, but and partly just because like I paused it to get up and go get something, and I was like, oh wow, it's only been 35 minutes or whatever, and it felt like it had been longer, but it was good. Actors were all really good, and the story was somewhat predictable, but not bad. It not in a bad way, and I liked it. One thing I forgot to add about this one was that they had some pretty good makeup in it. The actor that played the uncle, Sir John, he I thought he was just sort of middle aged in the beginning, and the actor was probably about 37 at the time. Lead actress was 25, I think, and the guy she falls in love with was a little bit older, about 30, I think. Then, they fast forward to when she's a little bit older, and they had some pretty decent makeup on the uncle and his friend that had given him the news about the aunt, about the girl's parents dying. And it was pretty good. It was decent, decent old age makeup, probably, the white hair and just kind of some darkening. It's all in black and white. So just some darkening to make wrinkles and stuff, but it was pretty good. And then when they did the flashback to when the guy was going to marry, the love of his life, I thought it was a different actor. I was like, oh, that can't possibly be the same actor. He looked so much younger, and the friend looked a little bit older. Like I think he was older in real life, and I think they had to do a little more work to make him look younger than they did to make him look older. But the main guy there, Sir John, it was pretty amazing how much older they made him look in the more current scenes of the movie as opposed to the flashback. So it was pretty amazing. Good stuff. As I've mentioned before with this run, for the most part, these have been pretty good movies. I think I can't remember now. Maybe the last couple I didn't like as much that I reviewed before this one, but this one kind of got it back on track. And the last one remaining is Cavalcade, which was the Best Picture winner for the 6th Academy Awards. So we'll get to that one and finish this year out. And I'll see you next time.